instance happened because the victim launched a police complaint about the first rape. Not only that, the same men aided by the Trinamool Congress 2 months later set the girl on fire to prevent her from testifying. Then on to 2015, a 71-year-old nun was raped at a convent school in the porous border district of Noida at Ranaghat. While the charge sheet mentioned gang rape, only one Bangladeshi person was arrested. These are just a few examples. The list is way beyond. In the RG Kaur rape horror probe, a similar pattern was followed. First, the administration reports suicide. Second, a 2-hour delay in calling the cops. Then, hasty cremation and tampering of the crime scene. This has emerged to be a strong cover-up pattern for the Mamata regime. The RG Kaur incident is not an isolated incident of political failure under the TMC government.
State government regarding the investigation, but we still have hope that CBI will give a positive report to the Supreme Court. We were listening to the Supreme Court proceedings live, and the National Task Force has been formed, which is a very good step, of course. But as resident doctors, we hope that there were government doctors and resident doctors included in the National Task Force, because I'm not sure how much the non-government doctors know at the base level the situation, the gravity of the situation what we are facing through. So, still, we still have hope. The Supreme Court has taken it as suo moto and asked for a report within 2 days of the CBI. But when it comes to us, FIMA has decided not to back down from the strike. We are continuing strike because of our agitation. The case has been taken up as suo moto at the earliest. But if we back down now, we feel everything, our efforts will go in vain, because we are fighting for a greater cause, and this is not something that will get resolved within a week or 2 weeks. So until justice is served, we have decided to fight, continue to fight, because this is not the time to back down. FIMA is absolutely correct that we are in a do or die situation.
Few unsensible people are making comments that doctors are avoiding duties and doing this protest. But after a point of time, we would also be continuing protests even with loss of pay. So people should understand that we are not doing it to avoid our duties. We should look at this aspect in two main lights. One is the incident itself, the gruesome incident that took place at RG Kaur, that the nation knows, that should be tackled by CBI, proper investigation. We hope that the Supreme Court and the CBI will do it. And the second aspect is the continuing assaults on doctor nationwide. You can take August 2024, Abhaya. May 2023, Dr. Vandana Das in Kerala was stabbed to death on duty. What is the reason for this? The reason is unrestricted public access to all areas of the government hospital and lack of surveillance, lack of safety. So the government, central government and the state government should work in coordination to tackle these issues, to provide better safety, better surveillance, so that we can work peacefully, so that we can provide better service. Thank you.
Well, in fact, these are images now coming in from Hyderabad. Remember, over the last 11 days, just not doctors, but people from different walks of life have joined the justice for Abhaya. Several now calling out the government in the state of West Bengal, particularly in the manner they have dealt with the situation. These are images now coming in from Kolkata. Let's take a look at the protest that's now taking place in Kolkata. Remember, over the last few days, people have been coming out in large numbers. Well, in fact, protests are intensifying in almost every city across the country. We brought you images from Hyderabad a short while back where our reporters are on the ground. We'll try and go back to my colleague Aneri, who's going to join us in a short while from now from Hyderabad. And what you're seeing right now on your screens, these are images coming in from Kolkata. What is it that they are demanding? They are demanding better security for our doctors and also justice for Abhay. The reason why many are asking for justice for Abhay, it's only because of the response that has really come in from the government authorities soon after the murder and rape of Abhay was found out. As a response, the family members of Abhay were told that this was a case of suicide. In fact, it turns out from the autopsy report that there are 16 external injuries that were sustained by Abhay. And the fact that there is a possibility of more than one person. That is something that forensic experts have also been talking about. But remember, the Kolkata police, when they carried out the investigation, they had only made one single arrest, the prime accused in this particular case, and relying on the DNA test. But having said that, there are several unanswered questions. Question number one is with regards to the vandalism that took place at RG Kaur Hospital. And was this really an attempt to destroy the evidence? Remember, just before the vandalism took place, the room adjacent to the seminar hall where body of Abhay was found was demolished. Many then raised this question as to why exactly was the room demolished in a hurried manner. Was this to stop? Was this to prevent the Central Bureau of Investigation from carrying out the investigation? In fact, this also remains one of the key points of investigation. Apart from that, remember, several questions have also been raised about whether at all there was a deliberate attempt to peddle the suicide narrative. In fact, this is something that has been raised by the family members of Abhay, who say that they were not even allowed to see the dead body for about several hours put together. Then the bigger question emerged as to why was the police in a tearing hurry to cremate the body of Abhay. Crematorium staff members who spoke to Republic TV also pointed out that there were 3 bodies in queue, but it was Kolkata police that insisted that body of Abhay should be cremated as soon as possible. These are 2 set of images coming in from Hyderabad and Kolkata. First, let me bring in my colleague Ishan Dev, who's joining us from the Kolkata newsroom. And in the next few minutes, we'll also try and go across to my colleague Aneri, who's been reaching the spot where you're seeing these protests are taking place in Hyderabad. Ishan Dev, who's joining us from Kolkata newsroom. Let me first take this question to you, Ishan Dev. There is an SIT that Mamata government has now formed looking into the financial irregularities. What stopped Mamata Banerjee from taking the action much earlier and perhaps also looking into some of those questions that many forensic experts say remain completely unanswered?
Well, Shawan, this is the biggest question right now regarding the formation of this SIT to probe the financial irregularities in RG Kaur when Sandeep Ghosh was the principal there. And this question is being raised by the political parties also. Last night we broke this news that the government of West Bengal has constituted an SIT consisting of 4 very high-ranking officials who are IPS officers, and they will probe this alleged financial irregularities which in RG Kaur during the tenure of Sandeep Ghosh. And you know that Amit Malviya, the BJP IT cell chief, he has tweeted last night also that this is a ploy by Mamata Banerjee's government to save Sandeep Ghosh, because they want, according to the allegation of BJP, Mamata Banerjee is trying to save Sandeep Ghosh from getting into CBI's custody. By constituting this SIT, they will get Sandeep Ghosh into their own custody and they will prevent him from going into CBI's custody. So this is a ploy, this is is a trap by Mamata Banerjee's government, according to the allegations being brought forward by BJP. So this is a very relevant question right now in Kolkata, that why this SIT was not formed or constituted earlier. Why after so many things and such brutal killing of Abhaya happened and Arjikar, and the government was compelled to remove Sandeep Ghosh from Arjikar and also from CNMC. Now they are coming to probe these incidents. Were they not aware of all these irregularities earlier? All these things are coming to the surface or to the knowledge of the administration after so many things has happened. These are the questions right now. Shravan.
Well, Ishandev, before I also bring in my colleague Aniri in a short while from now, just a quick question with regards to the investigation that has been carried out so far by the Central Bureau of Investigation. It turns out earlier in the day, Sanjay Roy's close aide was called in for questioning. He was essentially seen running away from the spot. We'll try and see if we can bring that image back and also show our viewers as to what's really happening. Why exactly a man who has been called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigation ran away from that very spot. We'll try and see if we can go across to that visuals also. But Ishandev, who exactly is this person who can be seen running away from the CGO complex?
Well, Shravan, this man is known as Arnab Goswami. Arnab Goswami is a very close aide to this Sanjay Roy, who has been arrested already, and this Arnab Goswami is also a very influential person in the Police Welfare Board. This Police Welfare Board is headed by an officer who is also very close to the Chief Minister of West Bengal. And this Arnab Goswami is a very influential one in that police welfare board, according to sources. And when he was approaching the CBI office at CGO complex, when media tried to ask him some questions, he fled like anything, and he was running away from media to reply to the questions being raised by media. This Arnab Goswami, as I told you, he's not only a close aide to Sanjay Roy, but he is a very influential person in the police welfare board, which is headed by some officers who are very, very close to the Chief Minister. Shravan.
Well, in fact, Ishandev, the fact that you have had this person running away, we would like to, focus on the role. While we are also going to stay with these latest visuals, but quickly let me show you this person whom you see right now running away. Let's also put out the details of who this person is right now for our viewers to understand. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see right now on your screens is a person who was called in for questioning by the Central Bureau of Investigation, a close aide of Sanjay Roy. He was called in for questioning and he can be seen running away. Once again to you, Ishandev, why is he so very crucial? On what basis was he called in for questioning? Did he finally appear before the Central Bureau of Investigation?
Yes, Shravan, he appeared before the Central Bureau of Investigation, because the visual which you are showing right now, this is the visual of Arnab Goswami's entrance into the CGO complex. The building which is in front of Arnab Goswami, towards which he is running in this visual, that is CGO complex, and that is the CBI office. He was running towards it when he was summoned by CBI for questioning, and after reaching the CGO complex premises, when media tried to ask him some questions, he started running towards the CBI office. He was not at all interested to reply to the questions being raised by media. And I was telling you, he is not only close to Sanjay Roy, but he is also a very influential person in the Police Welfare Board, which Police Welfare Board has also come under many controversies in West Bengal. And this board is headed by some officer who is very close to Chief Minister and Home Minister Mamata Banerjee. And this person, this Arnab Goswami, who is running away from media, he is a very influential and active person in that Police Welfare Board, according to sources. Shravan.
Well, thank you very much, Ishandev, for getting us the latest As far as the investigation goes, in fact, we'll go back to the live visuals that are coming in from Hyderabad as well as in Kolkata. We'll also try and see if we can get you those latest visuals where protests are also going to be carried out in Mumbai's Shivaji Park. So there are several cities. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have been emphasizing, this is not about just one place and people of one city up in arms raising questions about what really our daughters had to go through. Let me quickly go across to Aneri, who is joining us on this broadcast from Hyderabad. Aneri, why don't you speak to some of the doctors who are present there at the protest site and give us a sense of what's really happening there on the ground. What is it that they are really looking forward to, raising questions about the investigation that have been carried out so far?
Well, Shravan, what we have been seeing is that Supreme Court has already taken up the matter. The case has been taken up in the Supreme Court. But amid all of that, we have been seeing that protests continue. Well, not only in the national capital, but all across the country, we have been seeing that how there have been protests which have been taking place. And here right now, as we are in Hyderabad at the Ambedkar statue, Telangana junior doctors from Osmania Hospital, Gandhi Hospital, and all the other hospitals have come together demanding justice. As you can see, they have been holding placards saying that no mercy to rapists, stop violence, justice for Rajikar. Many such placards have been held up here by the doctors here. We'll try and speak to them and know what do you...
No safety.
Well, as the protest continues, we have been seeing that demand for justice continues over the Rajikar incident which had taken place, and now we see that the doctors continue their protest demanding justice. We'll be right back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
We want.
आए दिन नई नई वारदातें होती हैं। बजाय कानून व्यवस्था को सुधारने के एक बयान आता है महिला मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से कि मेरी सलाह है कि रात को लड़कियां अकेले ना निकलें।
मानवता की यही पुकार,
महिलाओं का हो सत्कार,
मानवता की यही पुकार,
महिलाओं का हो सत्कार।
We want justice, we want justice, we want justice, we want justice.
आए दिन नई नई वारदातें होती हैं। बजाय कानून व्यवस्था को सुधारने के एक बयान आता है महिला मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से कि मेरी सलाह है कि रात को लड़कियां अकेले ना निकलें। अध्यक्ष जी, कल रात जो घटना घटी वो रात्रि 9:30 बजे की है और महिला अकेली नहीं थी, उसके साथ उसका पुरुष मित्र भी था। तो ना तो घटना देर रात की है और ना लड़की अकेले थी। 23 बरस की फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट महिला 9:30 बजे एक बस में बैठती है द्वारिका जाने के लिए, और अंदर जो बैठे हैं उनमें से कोई भी यात्री नहीं है। वो एक तरह का नापाक इरादा लेकर बैठे हैं। वो उस महिला के साथ छेड़खानी करते हैं। उसका पुरुष मित्र रेजिस्ट करता है, लड़ाई लड़ने की कोशिश करता है तो उसके सिर पर रॉड्स मारते हैं, लोहे की छड़ें, और उसके बाद उस बच्ची के साथ दुष्कर्म करते हैं और गैंग रेप करके उसको बस से नीचे फेंक देते हैं।
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant CUET candidates. Over 25,000 scholarship holders have already benefited from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. पढ़ो कुछ बनो.
कोलकाता भैया यहाँ पे मैं इस इंसिडेंट में आया हूँ. मैंने कलकत्ता के इंसिडेंट पे अपनी टिप्पणी करी है, अपने व्यू रखे हैं. यहाँ पे मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए मैं यहाँ इनका मामला उठाने आया हूँ.
Extremely shameful and insulting comment by Rahul Gandhi. When asked about Abhaya, he calls it a mere distraction. Supreme Court pulls up Mamata government says do not use force on peaceful protesters. And just hours after the SC order, Mamata government violates directives as her cops assault and drag peaceful protesters. Chorus for Mamata's resignation grows louder. BJP stages massive protest in Kolkata. And the centre questions Mamata government and police force, seeks change of Bengal DGP.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. पढ़ो कुछ बनो.
A very good evening, viewers. You're watching Republic TV with me, Rakshita Mishra. The Supreme Court, which took suo moto cognizance of the brutal rape and murder of a junior doctor at Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital, has come down heavily on the Mamata Banerjee government over the glaring lapses in the probe and the failure to prevent the vandalism on the hospital campus. Now, it has also sought the setting up of a national task force to ensure the security of doctors and medical professionals across the country. Apex Court has also sought a status report from the CBI on its ongoing probe into the the RG Kaur horror. Now, viewers, we are putting across some glaring lapses that have now triggered, that have now, given birth to some major questions, viewers. Republic TV is putting across these questions, which the Supreme Court today has also listed out. Supreme Court has pulled up Mamata Banerjee government and blasted it heavily. Now, how did the mob enter the hospital? Why was the crime scene not protected? These two were the first questions that are put up. Then, why was the principal appointed to another college? That is the big question. Why was the principal, Sandeep Ghosh, appointed to another college? Why was there a delay in filing an FIR? Another question, what was the hospital administration doing? Why was there a delay in informing the family of Dr. Abhaya? Another scathing remark, observation, question put up. Why was the identity of the victim revealed? That's another point that has been raised. Question put forth. Mamata Banerjee on the back foot. State power must not be unleashed on peaceful protesters. This is another big question, another observation of the Supreme Court, that the state power must not be unleashed on peaceful protesters, viewers. And these are some scathing observations made by the CJI, Justice D.Y. Chanchur, viewers. Also, we're getting in more updates, more reactions on this. Remember, viewers, Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition today, has dismissed a question when asked about the RG Kaur horror. And in fact, we will get you that. But right now, as we speak, there are breaking developments coming in from Hyderabad, where protests are taking place. India demanding justice for Dr. Abhaya. And this is not just in Kolkata, viewers. This is happening across the country. You can see how doctors in Hyderabad have united and they are demanding justice for Dr. Abhaya. From Kolkata to Delhi to Hyderabad. I'll go across to Aneri, my colleague from Hyderabad. Take us through what's happening on ground zero, Aneri. The chorus is only growing louder for justice for the victim, for the RG Kaur Hospital, Dr. Abhaya.
Well, that's right, Rakshita. What we have been seeing is that, this is not the first day where we see that the protests have been taking place in Hyderabad, but since last many days, protests have been taking place demanding justice to the victim, and also these doctors here have been demanding that until there is justice to the victim and the victim's family, they will continue to protest. And also, as you can see right now as well, many of the doctors have come together here demanding justice to the victim and the family. Well, as you can see, banners being held up here by the doctors where they say justice for RG Kaur, and also at the same time they continue to demand the Central Protection Act to the central government. Well, you can see now many doctors have come together here at the Ambedkar statue demanding justice for the victim. As remember, today in the Supreme Court also we had seen that there was a hearing, a very important hearing that had taken place in the Supreme Court, where we see that Chief Justice of India has also raised a lot of questions in connection with this particular incident that has definitely shocked the entire nation, with the brutal rape and murder of a young doctor. With that, we see that massive protests have been taking place all across the country. Well, not today, not being the first year, we see mass protests being taking place, and as a mark of protest here as well, you can see doctors join hands together demanding justice. They are doing a memorial here, showcasing how the doctor's life also matter and how they want justice.
Absolutely. In fact, there was a strike also held in Hyderabad. Aneri, it's actually shocking how people, leaders from the India Alliance, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi also, he's oblivion to what's happening. He cannot see what's happening. He cannot see beyond his own political agenda, targeting, the BJP, raising those questions, raising those issues which only suits his agenda or his alliance or compulsions of his own politics. It's astonishing how we cannot see what's happening in Hyderabad, what's happening in Kolkata, in Delhi. This is something where there is a chorus to protect those who protect our lives. These are doctors. They work day and night to reach that hospital where they work and treat you and me, treat Rahul Gandhi or other leaders. And he's completely unaware and insensitive when he dismisses this issue as something that is just a distraction.
Well, Rakshita, as you can see right now here in Hyderabad, there is a mock drill and also a protest that has been taking place in Hyderabad, showcasing what exactly happened and how women have been facing harassment at workplaces and other places as well. And so we see many doctors here have joined here from Osmania Hospital, Gandhi Hospital, LIMS and other hospitals here, demanding justice for the victim and the victim's family as well. But also at the same time now the doctors continue to question the law and order situation in the state of Kolkata as well, and also they continue to say that they will continue to protest until justice is delivered, and also at the same time they continue to demand that the central government has to come up with the Central Protection Act is what they say, and also at the same time we also will try and speak to some of the doctors here what they have to say. So what do you have to say over this incident? And also at the same time we see that today Supreme Court also took up the matter and there was a hearing that had taken place.
So we see it as a positive approach. We are thankful that Supreme Court has taken this case as sumo and come forward. But the thing does not end here. As Supreme Court suggested, the National Task Force, which has been appointed by Supreme Court, it has to implement its work. And also CBI, what the direction gave by Supreme Court, that CBI and the government of Bengal has to give its report within 2 days, like 22nd. So we are going to continue our protest and our struggle, our fight till these two reports comes in forward of Supreme Court and what the judge has to say this.
There have been meetings, a series of meetings which have been taking place. On one side there is investigation which has been taken up, and today also Supreme Court has come up with a national task force which has been formed for especially to investigate into this matter. But also at the same time now a lot of questions are being raised by the doctors all across the country. What do you have to say?
See, merely forming committees or enforcing tasks doesn't fulfill the work. We want work in action. In ground reality, this has to come implemented. So until this comes in ground, we are not going to step back.
What do you have to say about this incident and what's your demand?
See, it is a very pathetic situation that a doctor who has been working for 36 hours straight couldn't have a place to rest and getting raped and murdered brutally by known antisocial who has been employed by the government itself as a third-party assistant without any background check. It is a very pathetic situation and it is a failure of the administration of the government at all the fronts. So this has to be...
Aneri, of course, there is anger that is growing across the country, but right now we're just getting a breaking development. Education Minister has reacted to the developments coming in. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has hit out at the Mamata Banerjee government, saying that Mamata Banerjee is incompetent to handle the state. We can listen to what Union Minister Pradhan has to say.
सोसाइटी की ओर से, स्टूडेंट्स की ओर से और विभिन्न पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की लीडरशिप की ओर से कुछ बुनियादी प्रश्नों को पूछा जाता था। इस प्रकार की घिनौना व्यक्ति कैसे पुलिस की वॉलंटियर हो सकता है? जो मिनिमम प्रोटोकॉल्स होते हैं, कोई नाइट शिफ्ट में लेडीज वर्कफोर्स काम करते हैं और डॉक्टर जैसे दायित्व में काम करते हैं, उनकी सेफ्टी, सिक्योरिटी, कैमरा कितने होनी चाहिए, रिटायरिंग रूम कैसे होनी चाहिए, उसकी मिनिमम सेफ्टी क्या होनी चाहिए, उसकी सारे वेलिड प्रोसेसेस हैं। वेस्ट बंगाल की राजधानी कोलकाता में एक सरकारी हॉस्पिटल में इस प्रकार की इनएडिक्वेसी, ये सरकार की नाकामी को प्रमाण करती है। कोर्ट ने उसके ऊपर टिप्पणी दिया है। यहाँ की सिविल सोसाइटी की ओर से, स्टूडेंट्स की ओर से और विभिन्न पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की लीडरशिप की ओर से कुछ बुनियादी प्रश्नों को पूछा जाता था। इस प्रकार की घिनौना व्यक्ति कैसे पुलिस की वॉलंटियर हो सकता है? जो मिनिमम प्रोटोकॉल्स होते हैं, कोई नाइट शिफ्ट में लेडीज वर्कफोर्स काम करते हैं और डॉक्टर जैसे दायित्व में काम करते हैं, उनकी सेफ्टी, सिक्योरिटी, कैमरा कितने होने चाहिए, रिटायरिंग रूम कैसे होनी चाहिए, उसकी मिनिमम सेफ्टी क्या होनी चाहिए, उसकी सारे वेलेड प्रोसेसेस हैं। वेस्ट बंगाल की राजधानी कोलकाता में एक सरकारी हॉस्पिटल में इस प्रकार की इनएडिक्वेसी, ये सरकार की नाकामी को प्रमाण करती है। कोर्ट ने उसके ऊपर टिप्पणी दिया है।
So viewers, the Supreme Court today pulled up the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata and her government over the delay in the registration of FIR, the subsequent destruction of the crime scene, the vandalism at the RG Kar hospital, and of course it was hearing the case of the deceased doctor, the junior doctor was raped, brutally murdered at the medical college, viewers, and we are getting you a report that will help you understand what all has happened up until now and the glaring question, the glaring lapses that have been listed out today by the CJI, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud.
The Supreme Court was scathing and unsparing on the Bengal government over the conduct of its probe into the horrific rape and murder of a junior doctor at Kolkata's RG Kar hospital. A three-judge bench of Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.D. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra questioned the Mamata government over its grave lapses in the probe. The apex court frowned on the delay in filing an FIR into the incident, which it said has put fear in the minds of doctors all across the country. The Supreme Court also asked the Bengal government why the victim's parents were made to wait for 3 hours to see her body. The apex court bench sought the formation of a national task force to ensure the safety of doctors and medical professionals all across the country. Also coming down heavily on the Mamata regime over the vandalism at RG Kar, the court asked how 7,000 outsiders were allowed mayhem on campus on the night of August 15th. The bench also questioned the inability of the Mamata police to prevent the destruction of the crime scene during the vandalism that took place on RG Kar's campus. The court directed the CBI, who was represented by the Solicitor General, to file a status report on its probe into the RG Kar incident, latest by the next hearing, which is on August 29th. The bench also urged doctors to call off their nationwide protest over the RG Kar incident. The strong words of the Supreme Court comes as a stinging indictment of the Mamata regime on the question of law, order and women's safety.
Well, as we have been seeing that the investigation continues in the RG Kar incident, which had shocked the nation with the brutal rape and murder of a junior doctor, we see that the protests have also been taking place here in Hyderabad. Well, not only in Hyderabad but all across the country, we see that protests have been taking place demanding justice, and also the doctors continue to say that they will continue to protest until their demands are met and also until the victim is delivered justice, is what the doctors here have to say. We'll be right back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
11 days on, justice in Abhay matter remains elusive. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we speak to a top lawyer who's representing the RG Kar matter, makes damning allegations as far as the cover-up angle is concerned.
character, the taste of success.
بنابراین در ارتباط با تنبیه متجاوز به حاکمیت و تمامیت سرزمینی جمهوری اسلامی ایران طبیعی است که دولت ایران مبتنی بر منشور و حقوق بین الملل حق ذاتی دارد و در این زمینه قاطع عمل خواهد کرد. به دوستان خود در واقع گفتیم که ما به دنبال تشدید تنش در منطقه نیستیم، از تلاش‌های توأم با حسن نیت برای برقراری آتش بس حمایت می‌کنیم، در عین حال بر حق ذاتی جمهوری اسلامی ایران در استیفای حقوق خود و تنبیه متجاوز و ایجاد بازدارندگی در مقابل یک رژیم تروریستی تأکید داریم و این رو در زمان مقتضی از آن استفاده خواهیم کرد.
Supreme Court shreds Mamata's governance. Complete failure of law and order. Delay in FIR. Parents made to wait for 3 hours. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Welcome back, viewers. Now, the RJ Kaur rape and murder horror is not an isolated incident in West Bengal. Similar cases and similar patterns have been time and again have been reflected, have been recorded in the past. That all this under Mamata Banerjee's regime. Here's a detailed report on that.
An uncomfortable sense of deja vu seems to exist among the residents of West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee had already weathered a similar storm in the year 2012. A woman was raped in the heart of Kolkata in Park Street in 2012. She had then initiated what has now become a standard operating procedure. Doubt the crime itself, shame the victim, and loudly allege a political conspiracy and a social media vendetta. A week after came Kamduni, a second instance of what was to become a distressingly familiar pattern. In the Kamduni case, the body of the victim was found in a field in Ranitola and the rape and murder of a middle-aged woman in Kharjula, both villages in Murshidabad district. In the latter case, the police denied rape and insinuated a love affair gone wrong after arresting one man, despite villagers insisting that she was targeted by a local gang. In 2013, a 16-year-old girl was gang raped twice. And shockingly, the second instance happened because the victim launched a police complaint about the first rape. Not only that, the same men aided by the Trinamool Congress 2 months later set the girl on fire to prevent her from testifying. Then on to 2015, a 71-year-old nun was raped at a convent school in the porous border district of Noida at Ranaghat. While the charge sheet mentioned gang rape, only one Bangladeshi person was arrested. These are just a few examples. The list is way beyond. In the RG Kaur rape horror probe, a similar pattern was followed. First, the administration reports suicide. Second, a 2-hour delay in calling the cops. Then, hasty cremation and tampering of the crime scene. This has emerged to be a strong cover-up pattern for the Mamata regime. The RG Kaur incident is not an isolated incident of political failure under the TMC government.
11 days on, justice in Abhay matter remains elusive. Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we speak to a top lawyer who's representing the RG Kaur matter, makes damning allegations as far as the cover-up angle is concerned.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant CUET candidates. Over 25,000 scholarship holders have already benefited from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
आए दिन नई नई वारदातें होती हैं। बजाय कानून व्यवस्था को सुधारने के एक बयान आता है महिला मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से कि मेरी सलाह है कि रात को लड़कियां अकेले ना निकलें।
मानवता की यही पुकार, महिलाओं का हो सत्कार, मानवता की यही पुकार, महिलाओं का हो सत्कार। We want justice, we want justice, we want justice, we want justice.
आए दिन नई नई वारदातें होती हैं। बजाय कानून व्यवस्था को सुधारने के एक बयान आता है महिला मुख्यमंत्री की तरफ से कि मेरी सलाह है कि रात को लड़कियां अकेले ना निकलें। अध्यक्ष जी, कल रात जो घटना घटी वो रात्रि 9:30 बजे की है और महिला अकेली नहीं थी, उसके साथ उसका पुरुष मित्र भी था। तो ना तो घटना देर रात की है और ना लड़की अकेले थी। 23 बरस की फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट महिला 9:30 बजे एक बस में बैठती है द्वारिका जाने के लिए और अंदर जो बैठे हैं उनमें से कोई भी यात्री नहीं है। वो एक तरह का नापाक इरादा लेकर बैठे हैं। वो उस महिला के साथ छेड़खानी करते हैं। उसका पुरुष मित्र रेजिस्ट करता है, लड़ाई लड़ने की कोशिश करता है तो उसके सिर पर रॉड्स मारते हैं, लोहे की छड़ें, और उसके बाद उस बच्ची के साथ दुष्कर्म करते हैं और गैंग रेप करके उसको बस से नीचे फेंक देते हैं।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
This is Republic and you're watching. This is exclusive with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, 11 days on, justice still remains completely elusive. The biggest focus as far as RG Kaur incident is concerned is the cover-up angle, something that has perhaps irritated Mamata's police the most. But over the last few days, the biggest endeavor that we have made is to shred entire investigation into details, to tell you what's really happening as far as the probe is concerned. Why exactly are we really talking about this cover-up angle, and why exactly this has now become the fulcrum of the entire investigation that is being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation? Ladies and gentlemen, while the entire city was up in arms reclaiming the night, there was a sinister plot that was underway when there was a mob that entered RG Kaur Hospital. That is the crime scene, ladies and gentlemen, and that crime scene was tampered with. The Kolkata police has been saying that there is no tampering of evidence. Is that really the case? Tonight, that's the focus on This Is Exclusive, and we get you a special guest who's joining us on this broadcast, telling you why exactly they believe that this was perhaps pre-planned. There was a conspiracy that was hatched, and these are damning allegations that have been leveled. But first, take a look at the headlines we are tracking at this hour.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
कोलकाता भैया यहाँ पे मैं इस इंसिडेंट में आया हूँ। मैंने कलकत्ता के इंसिडेंट पे अपनी टिप्पणी करी है, अपने व्यू रखे हैं। यहाँ पे मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, इसीलिए मैं यहाँ इनका मामला उठाने आया हूँ।
As the anger grows, Rahul Gandhi says Abhaya a distraction. Supreme Court pulls up. Mamata government says don't use force on peaceful protesters. Hours after Supreme Court order, Mamata government violates directives as her cops assault and drag peaceful protesters. Well, these are the latest images now coming in from Jadavpur in Kolkata, as once again students raising concerns about what's really happening in the investigation that has been carried out. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few days, not just doctors, nurses, but eminent citizens have all joined the march for the protests that are taking place. Justice for Abhaya has been the growing chorus. And once again, the focus has been the manner in which the investigation has been carried out by the Kolkata police, Mamata's police, which appear to be siding with the government and the narrative that has largely been built. What you see right now on your screens, these are people who are out on the streets demanding justice for Abhaya. For the last 11 days, not just one city, but cities across India, they've all come together. People have come together from different walks of life, demanding that justice should be given. In return, what has really happened? The response that has really come in from the government. Look at the kind of statements that they have made. You've had one Trinamool Congress leader saying that they will break the fingers if at all a single patient dies because OPD services were disrupted. That's because the Indian Medical Association said that enough is enough. Stringent measures should be taken. It is time to act. Then you have had another Trinamool Congress leader simply trying to trivialize this entire protest, saying that this is an opportunity for a few to be with their boyfriend. That was remark number 2. Rather than really acting as far as this investigation goes, where only one accused has been arrested, perhaps not taking some questions that have been raised by forensic experts seriously, that whether at all there has been a possibility of more than one person. The autopsy report reveals that 16 external injuries were sustained by Abhaya, which many forensic experts have been saying that this possibly cannot happen without the involvement of more than one person. But remember, this has been completely ignored by the Kolkata police. In fact, you've had the Kolkata police now coming up with an SIT to look into the financial irregularities in RG Kor Hospital. Why exactly was this not an issue earlier? These are some questions that many have been raising. Let's also try and see if we can go across to our reporters on the ground to get you a sense of the palpable anger. And ladies and gentlemen, these are not political protests that are taking place. People from different walks of life are now joining together, demanding that justice for Abhaya is paramount. And that's exactly what they are looking forward to, that hoping that there has to be some sort of response that should come in. Ladies and gentlemen, while we stay with these images that are coming in right now, we're also going to take you through the details of this entire cover-up that we have been talking so far. In fact, earlier in the day, we have also spoken to a lawyer. In fact, he is representing the protesters. Remember, those who were out on the night when RG Kor Hospital was vandalized. Questions were being raised about whether at all there was a deliberate attempt to try and destroy the evidence. This was just before the Calcutta High Court had basically ordered the case to be transferred from Kolkata police to the Central Bureau of Investigation. We'll stay with these images for a while now, and then we will bring you that exclusive interview with a top advocate who's made damning allegations about a pre-planned conspiracy. The evidence that has been gathered so far indicates that the vandalism that took place at RG Kor Hospital was perhaps pre-planned. And that is the reason why this matter has now come up before the court, and also happens to be the crux of the investigation that has been carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. They're also looking at as to why exactly was there a tearing hurry on the part of the college authorities to demolish a room adjacent to this seminar room. That's where Abhaya's body was found. So why exactly was that room demolished? Second question, was there an escape route that was given to those who carried out the vandalism at RG Kor Hospital? These are questions that have been answered by this top advocate who is representing in the RG Kor matter. In fact, we also have spoken to the victim's lawyer, who's spoken about a rate card. You listen into what Bikash Ranjan had to say with regards to how the government has essentially responded, how Mamata's police has responded so far, and why there appears to be a clear cover-up, completely botched up investigation that has been carried out. Now let's take you through some of the details of the investigation that has been carried out. The focus, the fulcrum of this entire investigation has also been the vandalism that took place at RG Kor Hospital, and why it is so very crucial, because of the evidence that could have been destroyed. Listen in to what Firdaus Shami, who's a lawyer, a top advocate representing the RG Kor matter, the protesters who had gathered there, and those who were fighting for reclaiming the night. They say that this was a pre-planned conspiracy and an escape route was given to those who vandalized the hospital. While in the Supreme Court, Mamata government was taken to the dry cleaners, there are several applications that have also been filed in the court. Joining us on this broadcast tonight is Firdaus Shami. He's also representing in the RG Kor matter. Remember, there have been multiple protests that have been taking place demanding that justice should be provided to Abhaya. Thank you very much, Mr. Shamim, for joining us on this broadcast. You're referring to a mob that entered RG Kor Hospital. Some are talking about a clear political link. What is it that you are essentially arguing in terms of the evidence that you've been able to peruse? Do you believe that there is some sort of a political backing as far as the mob entering RG Kor Hospital? Because Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee says that this is being carried out by the CPM and the BJP. Very clearly, she's just ended up putting the entire blame on the CPM and BJP. Do you think that's a lie?
This is the greatest apathy. This is the greatest apathy. Because of that, Chief Minister making such type of comment. Although this investigation carried out by the Kolkata police, and very next day, on 22nd August, they ought to file report before the Supreme Court. But the thing is that very next day, one of the leading Bengali newspaper, they addressed in their news item that they are the people of Dada's law. In Bengali, whosoever, the elder brother is called Dada. But nowadays, Dada means they are the rowdies.
I'm going to ask you a direct question, Mr. Shabim, because many seem to know who carried out the attack, who vandalized RG Kaur Hospital. Many seem to be knowing about it, but they are squeamish to talk about it. I want to know from you who was really behind it. What is it that you're alleging?
Most of the people are backed by the ruling dispensation, that is All India Trinamool Congress. Because very next day, in the leading Bengali newspaper, they publish a news item that most of the people, they are linked with Trinamool Congress councillor, they are linked with Trinamool Congress leader, and they are the local PMC leader. Why they came to the RG Kaur Hospital, and not only that, they came to the RG Kaur Hospital.
So you are saying that there is evidence. Are you suggesting, Mr. Shamim, correct me if I'm wrong, you are suggesting that there is adequate evidence to link those in the ruling party carrying out the attack at RG Kaur Hospital?
Yes, it is published in a leading Bengali newspaper very next day. Very next day, it is published in a leading Bengali newspaper. Not only that, they are visible in the CCTV camera. Because of that, very next day, the Kolkata police published their photograph in their Facebook page. And from this Facebook page, some of the local people, they identify themselves as a local Trinamool Congress leader. So they are, most of them are the Trinamool Congress, they are closely associated with Trinamool Congress. Either they are TMC leader,
since you are arguing this in the court, will you be providing, they are
associated with Trinamool Congress.
Are you confident? Because see, Mr. Shabim, because this is going to be argued in the court too. This matter is sub judice. Hence, I'm asking you this question.
That's why.
Do you have enough evidence to link this to the ruling dispensation?
I just finished it. That's why several expedition is filed before the Calcutta High Court for asking the CBI probe in this matter. Why CBI probe in this matter? Because with this vandalism, the ruling dispensation is with this vandalism. They are the PMC leaders, they are the close associates of PMC councillors. That's why the Kolkata police unable to caught them. So that's why the most of the expedition is filed for asking CBI probe in this vandalism matter also. Not only the matter of the rape incident or murder incident.
So you are saying that the CBI should be probing.
This also carried out by the CBI.
So you are saying that the RG Kaur vandalism that took place on the night when the entire city had come out for reclaiming the night, you are saying that there is a larger conspiracy which ought to be probed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, because do you believe this was an attempt to destroy the evidence?
Yes. Because of that, in law we says the place of occurrence. RG Kaur Hospital is the place of occurrence. There is lying the evidence is lying there. So why they came to the RG Kaur Hospital this mob?
And you are linking the local councillor.
Not only that,
you are linking the local councillor to the vandalism.
Another effort taken by the state administrative itself. They want to destroy the one of the nearest place of that building. Why they want to destroy it? Why they want to destroy that evidence in the place of occurrence building? Why they
one final question.
That is the biggest question now.
One final question, Mr. Shamim, that I want to ask you is with regards to the investigation that has been carried out by the Kolkata police. Many say that after the autopsy report, it is quite clear the involvement of more than one person, something that Kolkata police regularly seem to have been, perhaps dissing it, running away from it, not taking into cognizance the findings of the autopsy report.
Because of that, I would not make any comment in this matter. Because of that, the investigation is going on. We are the advocate for the petitioner side. It is all of the matter is lying with the case diary. So case diary is only accessible to the prosecutor and the court. I would not make any comment in this regard because of that. This is a subject matter of investigation. Investigation is going on. CBI will file the report on very next day. So what will be happen on next day? Thereafter, I will get the comment in this case.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shabir, for joining us on this broadcast. Ladies, images now coming in from Jadavpur in Kolkata. 11 days on, justice remains completely elusive. Ladies and gentlemen, not just doctors, nurses who are out on the streets demanding justice for Abhaya. You have people from different walks of life coming together, demanding that action should be taken. And what we have seen that not just in Kolkata, but in all parts of the country, there is only a single chorus: justice for Abhaya. And that's exactly what's happening. But it seems that the political class, Mamata's government, is completely ignoring the calls for justice for Abhaya. In fact, you've already seen a measure to distract the people from the investigation that has been carried out, particularly with the fact that there is a change in this entire
इसमें जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी के जनरल महिला छात्रियों ने, ट्रांसफेड छात्रों ने ये कॉल दिया था ओपन टू ऑल, जिसको सही लगा वो इस रैली में शामिल हुए हैं। हमारा डिमांड सिर्फ आरजी कोर्ट तक अटका हुआ नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं आरजी कोर्ट का जस्टिस हो, उसके साथ साथ जो चारों तरफ जितना रेप, मोलेस्टेशन, मैरिटल रेप का केस आता है उसका भी जस्टिस हो, सोसाइटी से पेट्रियार्की खत्म हो, इसकी तरफ हम अपना आंदोलन लेके जाना चाहते हैं। मेरा नाम सुष्मिता, मैं जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी की स्टूडेंट हूँ। आज़ादी, 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 आज़ादी।
Well, these images that you see has been a constant over the last 11 days. Almost everyone coming together, raising their voice about the barbaric incident that took place at RG Kaur Hospital. The only constant remains the kind of response that has come in from the Mamata government. Not once have they really spoken about the unanswered questions. In fact, there has been multiple attempts to muzzle those who have been exposing the Kolkata police, starting from those within the party itself. You've had Trinamool Congress leaders raising questions about what's really happening inside RG Kaur Hospital. There have been growing concerns about nefarious activities taking place at
RG Kaur Hospital, and this was also raised by the Trinamool Congress leaders, but none of it seems to have moved the Chief Minister of West Bengal. In fact, we have seen that those who have been speaking are being targeted.
हम लोग जस्टिस चाहते हैं। आरजी कौर में जो कर्म हुआ है उसका हम लोग जस्टिस चाहते हैं। हम लोग जादवपुर से आए हैं। हाँ, नहीं, हम लोग का एक ही डिमांड है, हम लोग जस्टिस चाहिए, हम लोग और कुछ नहीं चाहिए, हम लोग को जस्टिस चाहिए बस। मेरा नाम अभिजीत है।
Well, in fact, we'll also go across to Mumbai, where the image is now coming in from Shivaji Park, where my colleague Meenakshi is also joining us. Just to tell you this, viewers, that this is not just about one city, where everyone is now coming together, hoping that the government will finally act. But over the last 11 days, there's not a single word really coming into from the Mamata government, and the fact that those who have been speaking against. Now, here, those who have been on the streets of Kolkata, what is it that they are saying? In response, you are seeing multiple notices. Over 282 notices have been issued by the Kolkata police only because they have questioned the investigation that has been carried out so far. Some malicious charges have also been levelled by the Kolkata police against top prominent doctors in Kolkata. That's the kind of response that has come in from the authorities rather than acting on those unanswered questions. Let's once again listen to what's really happening there on the ground. Well, in fact, let's just bring in another set of visuals now coming in from Mumbai. And as we have been pointing out, not just Kolkata, the entire nation, ladies and gentlemen, joining hands together, demanding justice for Abhaya. Meenakshi is joining us from Shivaji Park in Mumbai. Meenakshi, why don't you speak to those who've gathered there at Shivaji Park? And that's the big message that is being sent across. Not just Kolkata, but the entire nation now coming together. Meenakshi.
Yes, Shravan. Doctors have gathered here at Shivaji Park, Mumbai, to protest the incident of RG Kaur, Kolkata. It's the 8th day of protest. They are protesting, they are using candle and they are using placard also. I like to know what are your demands actually?
और डिमांड्स सबसे पहले जो कोलकाता में जो रेप हुआ है उसके लिए हम लोग यहाँ पे इकट्ठा हुए हैं। और जो 14 अगस्त के जो रात में साहब हल्ला हुआ था मेडिकल डॉक्टर्स के ऊपर, वो एक निंदनीय बात है। वो उसी हम लोग हमारे यहाँ से डिमांड है कि जो डॉक्टर की सुरक्षा करने वाला एक कायदा है सेंट्रल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, वो तुरंत लागू कर दिया जाए, ये हमारा डिमांड है।
हम देख रहे हैं कि लेडीज़ भी है, लेडी डॉक्टर्स भी है, उनसे जानते हैं कि हाउ डू यू फील जब देखते हो कि ऐसा दर्दनाक एक हादसा हो जाता है कोलकाता में। आप भी नाइट शिफ्ट करते हो, सिक्योरिटी का बड़ा क्वेश्चन है, बड़ा डिमांड है आप लोगों का।
हमें भी अपने वर्क प्लेसेस में सेफ नहीं महसूस होता है। अगर हम रात को अगर एग्रीड है कि हर एक लेडी जो डॉक्टर्स है जाके अगर हॉस्पिटल में अपना इतना टाइम गुजारती है और अगर उसके 36 आवर्स शिफ्ट में अगर वो हॉस्पिटल जाके सेफ नहीं फील करती है तो फिर उसके पेरेंट्स के लिए कितना बड़ा नुकसान है, उसके फैमिली के लिए कितना बड़ा नुकसान है कि इतना सब कुछ सैक्रिफाइस करने के बाद भी हॉस्पिटल जिसको वो हर मेडिको अपना दूसरा घर मानता है, अगर वहाँ जाके वो सेफ फील नहीं करता है तो कोई क्यों खुशी से आने वाले पीढ़ी में कोई भी मेडिकल लाइन में आना चाहेगा।
What is written in placard, Shravan, you can see safety first for every doctor. Don't color white apron red. यहाँ पे लिखा है बेटी पढ़ी पर बची नहीं, one who heals should not bleed. जो प्लाकार्ड में लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे डॉक्टर्स का जो प्रोटेस्ट है
पूरे देश में चल रहा है और भी यहाँ पे लेडीज़ हैं उनसे जानते हैं क्या डिमांड क्या है आप लोगों का। 8 दिन हो गया आज इस प्रोटेस्ट का मुंबई में, क्या डिमांड है?
See, the demand is very clear. First of all, we want that all those behind the rape, the culprit should be caught at the earliest, because even after so much of delay, they are not caught. Why the government is lagging behind taking strong actions? So demand number 1. The demand number 2 is that, see, you are seeing such a small, means this incident has brought in light and number of incidences the doctors face each day. It is not like it is only the one incident. There are a lot of things happening with the
We'll get you the latest images now coming in from other cities. In fact, there is also a protest taking place in Hyderabad.
हम लोग मोहन बगान ईस्ट बंगाल, बाद में पहले भारतीय, एक भारतीय नारी के ऊपर अत्याचार हुआ है। इस अत्याचार जो कोई वर्ड नहीं है इस अत्याचार को एक्सप्लेन कर सके। मोहन बगान और ईस्ट बंगाल का जो फ्लैग है उसके ऊपर पाद फोड़ के चला गया। अभी इस पुलिस प्रशासन 2 दिन पहले आप देखे आजिकर में जो कांड हुआ, ये लोग उन लोग का डर में बातों में बैठ गया था। तो ये लोग क्या है, क्या करेगा, एक राज्य को कैसे संभालेगा, संतास को कैसे संभालेगा। ये लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकता, सिर्फ किसी का तरफदारी कर सकता है। इन लोग को चले जाना चाहिए, अपने मन का अंदर से रेजिग्नेशन देकर चला जाना चाहिए इन लोग को।
ये लड़ाई सिर्फ ईस्ट बंगाल मूलमान की नहीं है, ये पूरा भारतीय का लड़ाई है। ये आपका एक लड़की के ऊपर अत्याचार हुआ, हम लोग का जो फेमस डर्बी है, जो इतना सालों से मूलमान ईस्ट बंगाल का पूरा दर्शक यहाँ पे आके जमा होता है, खेला एंजॉय करता है, वो रातों रात बंद कर दिया। ऊपर से हम लोग के ऊपर जो भी आ रहा था यहाँ पे सबका ऊपर लाठीचार्ज किया, सबको गाली दिया, ठीक है। किसी का फ्लैग के ऊपर से पाव ओढ़ के चला गया, वो किसी को अरेस्ट किया, किसी को ऊपर किसी को फोन करके धमकी दिया कि ये मिचिल वगैरह मत कीजिएगा, ये आपका जमायत मत कीजिएगा, ये सब किया है कोलकाता पुलिस, विधाननगर पुलिस सब मिलके।
প্রথমে পুলিশ বলেনি, প্রথমে হসপিটাল থেকেই ফোন করা হয়েছিল যে আমরা আরজিকর হসপিটাল থেকে বলছি আপনার মেয়ে অসুস্থ। তো তখন এটুকু বলে লাইন কেটে দিয়েছেন। তারপর তখন আমি ফোন করি যে আমার মেয়ের কি হয়েছে, আমার মেয়ের কি হয়েছে। তো উনি বলেন আমি তো ডক্টর নই।
Good evening and welcome, friends. As outpouring of anger happens across the country and the Supreme Court gets tough with the Mamata government, ally Rahul Gandhi sees distraction in the protests on the RGKR horror case. All that and more. Let me get you the headlines first.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
कोलकाता भैया, यहाँ पे मैं इस इंसिडेंट में आया हूँ। मैंने कलकत्ता के इंसिडेंट पे अपनी टिप्पणी करी है, अपने व्यू रखे हैं। यहाँ पे मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए मैं यहाँ इनका मामला उठाने आया हूँ।
Extremely shameful comment by Rahul Gandhi when asked about Abaya calls it a mere distraction. Supreme Court pulls up Mamata government, says don't use force on peaceful protesters. Hours after the Supreme Court order, Mamata government violates directives as the cops assault and drag peaceful protesters again. Chorus for Mamata's resignation grows louder. BJP stages massive protests in Kolkata.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Pado, kuch bano.
All right, let's begin this with a big breaking news development coming in from Kolkata. In fact, the Kolkata police has issued a notice to Sandeep Ghosh, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, to appear at the Lal Bazar police station tomorrow. The notice was issued regarding the disclosures of the victim's identity. And it seems that now with the Supreme Court rapping at the knuckles of the Mamata government, the Kolkata police also now acting against Dr. Sandeep Ghosh. He has been summoned by the police tomorrow to be present at the Lal Bazar police station. And these are pictures coming in of protests happening, the Mashal March happening. And I'm told Meenakshi is joining us live, in fact, from a protest site. Meenakshi, Kolkata police acting, but what is important is that there is tremendous outpouring of anger across the country. It's not just Kolkata. She was daughter of the nation now, it seems, with the kind of pictures we are getting. You are reporting live from Mumbai, where these protests are happening. Who are those people behind you protesting and joining the nation and expressing their anger?
Doctors are protesting here, Shivaji Park, Mumbai, and you can see also the anger. As you told, the anger is the main point. Save our saviors. Don't color white apron red. She saved lives, but who protected hers? The main question is that the security. And here the 8th day of protest. Doctors are protesting here, Mumbai, all over India they are protesting. What they want to say? I will ask you, what are your demands?
So our demands are very clear. We need a protection act, that is Central Protection Act, which will protect us, our whole doctor community. And second, the student of Kolkata who are there, they are frightened, so we need protection for